All right, welcome to the Heaven of Rock podcast. Today we have, dare I say, bass player, dare I say, guitar player, dare I say, photographer, may I say, music journalist, may I say, podcast host, the one, the only Shannon Wilk. Shannon, how are you doing today? Welcome to the podcast. It's awesome to have you here.
I'm doing good. That was an epic introduction.
Because I was like looking at your bio, and then I see that you're also a podcast host, but you also play guitar and you also do all of this other like creative endeavors. So
Yeah.
there is I was like, you don't go by just one, although you're mainly known as a bass player, but you do a lot of things, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely keep myself busy.
Yeah. Now, I remember like the one, I think I met you. Well, actually, this is like my first time meeting you, but like the first time that we worked together was in the like Instagram
Yeah.
collaboration of the extreme cover kind of thing. I thought you were a bass player back then. I mean, you are a bass player, but I didn't know that you were, yeah, that you were also doing all of these endeavors, which is pretty cool. Um, I also think it's cool on the fact that how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 16.
Oh, you're 16. Oh, I thought you were like 18, 19. That's awesome because
Yeah, a lot of people think that.
it's like I don't know too many well, I know my cousins friends, but they're not into rock and roll. They're just into like on pop culture stuff. So but it's like I don't see a lot of young like younger like teenagers like doing starting to get involved in their career early on and starting to get their foot in the door with different creative endeavors, right? So first of all, how did Shannon Wilk become Shannon Wilk? Like, how did you get into music? How did you decided to? What made you start to do? What made you get started into doing all of these creative endeavors?
Yeah, so all my life I've kind of been around rock music. Like my parents played like all the 80s metal bands like growing up,
Cool.
like Raleigh
Yeah.
Crew and Metallica, Ozzy, all that stuff. Um and when I was about 9 years old, that's when I kind of fell in love with rock music, and I was like obsessed with Aerosmith, Motley Crue, and Guns N' Roses. Those were my bands in the beginning. But
Beginning.
when I started playing guitar because of that, but I kind of got frustrated with it right away because I was a little kid and I couldn't, play.
Yeah.
um, and also I don't remember that very well, but my dad told me that when I first got my guitar, like I just had like a little like amp with no like pedals or like distortion or anything, and I didn't like it because it didn't sound metal enough.
That's
um
awesome.
yeah, so that was my first endeavor, and then I what really kind of threw me off the deep end, if you will, was when I was 11. I went on my first Monsters of Rock cruise. And if you're not familiar with that, that's basically 5 days at sea with all the 80s hair metal bands basically, and you're like you eat with them and you like see them play and all this cool stuff. So kind of just being thrown into that like at a young age,
Yeah.
that influenced me a lot. And then after that, I was always really into like reading interviews with bands. Like over here, this is my collection of
Hey,
magazines from the 80s. So I've
guys
always loved
are
like, what's
guys
that?
sorry to cut you off. If you guys are listening on the podcast on the Spotify, you can also go to the YouTube channel and check out this interview live, and then you can see Shannon's amazing room with that particular section that she's pointing to. But if you're listening, you can imagine it. That works as well. Continue.
So yeah, I've always been really into like reading interviews and stuff. So, little like 11, 12-year-old me was like, I want to do that. And, I had no like concept in my head of there being any challenges that come with that, being so young. So I kind of just did it. I didn't really know like what I was doing, so I just started like reaching out to a few people that I had met on the cruise, a few artists, and I just asked if I could interview them, and then I did it, and I just started. Initially, I was starting putting out stuff just like on Facebook as like text, and then eventually I got a website and I got things going that way. And then kind of a natural step from there was the photography thing because I was going to a lot of shows, and then most music journalists do interviews and reviews and photography, so it was kind of just thrown into the mix. Plus, my dad started doing concert photography too. So we both started doing that kind of around the same time, although he went to college for that, uh, like back in the day, if you will. He'll hate me for that, but it's okay. So, but he got back into it around the same time I did, so we were kind of doing that together. So that's cool, and we still do it together. So from there, I'm trying to remember the order of everything. I got asked to be on the media team for the Monsters of Rock cruise, which was pretty cool since
That's
that's like
awesome.
where it started.
Yeah.
Very full circle moment, and I've been doing that every cruise they've done since then. And this upcoming year will be my 5th cruise and my 3rd year on the media team. So
That's awesome.
it's pretty cool.
Congrats. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and then I started playing bass. I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago. But I had been playing guitar for like 2 years prior to when I started playing bass. So once I started playing bass, that kind of became my main instrument. Um, so I started playing bass, and then I just kind of decided that like I wanted to do that. The reason I started playing bass was seeing Mark Schenker, the bass player from Kix, played that the Cold Shower bass line.
Yeah.
Seeing that live, I was like, I want to do that. So then right after that cruise, I started saving my money to get a bass. So then I got a bass, and that's when I started playing. And it was kind of just keeping everything going from there. I started my podcast a little bit after that. Um, and yeah, it's just been going up, going uphill since then. So
That's awesome. That's quite the journey. It sounds like your family is very supportive. How does
yeah,
your family feel about, about seeing their, their own, their own daughter like endeavor and or actually get started into getting into the field right away? Because like that it's really cool that you got to see Monsters of Rock cruise because like in the cruise, um you get a lot of not just bands from from the US, but you also get a lot of hot rock bands from
yeah,
Sweden and from other parts of the world, which is just a great opportunity to get in touch or to experience the rock and roll and get in touch in with the field of rock music. So how does your family feel about your journey and where you are in life and where you're heading?
yeah. I mean, my parents are really supportive, obviously. Uh, and it's cool, like I said, that my dad and I get to do like the photography thing together because like we got to back in May we got to shoot Kiss together, which was like in
That's great. Yeah.
so it's like really cool getting to experience it all together. Um, what was the question? Sorry.
Oh no, no worries. I was basically asking, like, how does your family feel about your journey and about your
Right.
goals of wanting to be a professional musician?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're really supportive, but like they're a little nervous,
Yeah,
obviously, because like especially being like a young female in like the scene, like I'm a very independent person, so that can be scary, you know. Obviously there are some bad people, you know, but no, for the most part, it's great. I mean, my future plans they're a little scared of. Because I'm very ambitious and I make things happen for myself that I want to happen, and I work for stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's great.
that's awesome. And I know it can be like a I can imagine. Well, I mean, I'm not a parent, but I can imagine in a sense how um, how they're probably thinking about it, because when I told my parents that I wanted to be a musician and I wanted to be on the field, um, they were, it's not, because it's not a common path in a sense. It's not like,
Yeah.
you go to school, you get your degree, and then it's like you have everything laid out for you. When you're being an artist, you kind of have to work your ass off, and you have to make, you have to carve your own path in a way. And
Yeah.
you have to essentially be comfortable throwing yourself into the unknown. That's the way that I like to describe it. And in your
Yeah.
case, you still have to graduate high school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's like, you have to. I can only, like, if my parents were concerned about me, I can only imagine what your parents' concerns are. But but that's awesome. It's over the past couple of years, over the past 2 years, I have been seeing, it was like ever since the pandemic started, I feel like there has been a new breed of younger musicians uh,
Hmm.
that have come up to, that have started playing rock and roll. Because one
Yeah.
time I was like scrolling through Instagram, and then I came across you, and I came across Asish, and I think you guys worked on a collaboration together,
Yeah.
and I came across a lot of people. Um, so it's awesome that there are more like younger generations are starting to keep the genre alive, and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really good to see. I mean, like, rock and roll is alive and well, and I kind of dig that it's not like in the mainstream though. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be cool for like everyone to listen to rock music, like, but it's kind of cool that it's like this like underground, like, small circle kind of thing. Cause like
Yeah,
in the industry, kind of everyone knows everyone, and it's like this cool family. So I think we're in a good place.
yeah, much definitely. And when you begin touring, because I just finished a tour with Wild Street, and then I kept meeting new musicians, and then um, one of them is like, his name is also Kevin, and he also plays guitar, but he was helping us fill in the rhythm guitar player position. And he talked about, um, once, like, you're touring, and once you're dedicated in your journey, it's like you start to bump into the same people who have the same ambitions as you are, and you
Yeah.
get to a point where you discover that, sometimes some people end up backing out of their out of their journey with you, because sometimes it's too much for them to bear, or they
Yeah.
didn't imagine that it was going to be so and so. But I forgot where I was going with this, but yes, there we go. So essentially, once you're dedicated in the journey, you start to network with those people, and like you were saying,
Yeah.
like our genre it may seem big to some extent, but is actually kind of like a small little world, and you start to get to know everyone, and all of that. Um, Yesterday we were talking, and you said that you face anxiety at times. Has music helped you out with anxiety in any shape or form?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, music is like my whole world, as you can imagine, like with everything I am involved with in music. And I mean, like, I'm also a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help with the anxiety for sure. But yeah, music is like my rock, like it's my everything. So if I didn't have music, man, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's same here. I think that it's music. It has been, it has been there for me since in many ways that I can't even imagine. It's a big part of me now. As you can see, like, we both have like similar endeavors. We're also doing podcasts, we're getting our name out there. Um, Throughout your journey as a musician, what has been one of the most difficult situations that you have encountered, and how have you recovered from that?
Oh, that's such a good question. Um, okay. So I think one of the biggest challenges has been it sounds so stupid. Like the fact that I can't just go out and do it right now, like, to the fullest extent, because like obviously I'm still in high school, like I'm a junior in high school right now. And
Yeah,
like I've gotten like several opportunities to go on tour like as a hired gun, but I have to turn them down because I can't leave school for 2 weeks or more at a time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that's been hard, and like it's not fun to have to say no to such a big cool opportunity like going on tour, you know what I mean? So I mean that it it really sucks, but at the same time it also like it lets me know that once I'm done with school, like I'm gonna hit the ground running, you know what I mean? Like if I'm getting those kind of opportunities now, like it's just gonna be even more so in, a year and a half when I graduate, and my plan is to move to Nashville unless something massive changes between now and then. But I'm just gonna hit the ground running once I'm done. So that, I guess it's a blessing and a curse because it makes me know that my future is secure, like opportunity wise. But it sucks having to turn down something I've always dreamed of doing for such a like small logistical reason. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, for sure. But it also, like you said, it like I feel like right now you're in a you're in a I don't want yeah well yeah actually I want to say right now you're in a special place because of experience. You know what it's like. Have experience in your belt playing and all that, and that's an experience um, that not everyone gets to have. When I was your age, I was damn. I mean, I was like the only one in high school who had the hair long, like all the way down to my chest, and no one else had. I mean, there were other people that liked Metallica, but no one was into like the bands that were into. No one was wearing Motley Crue t-shirts. No one was wearing like Poison or Alice Cooper t-shirts, or Kicks t-shirts. For that matter. So I was like the only one, and then there weren't bands that were playing this kind of music. So like the fact that um, you have been, and the fact that your family is also, was a I guess was one of was kind of like the gateway, for between you and rock and roll. Will definitely will definitely allow you to move further into your career as a musician in the field. What would you say to like another kid, right, that wants to be involved? Like, what advice would you give to another person having even if they are your age or even they're much older? Like, what would you say to them to encourage them um, to follow their dreams of being a musician?
Yeah, so I get asked this quite a lot actually
Oh,
by like people of all ages ask me all the time like what advice I would give, and honestly like just go for it. Like do it. Just start doing it. Like you don't have to know anything cuz like for me I didn't know anything. I just started doing what I thought was what I was supposed to be doing for uh the industry. So just start doing whatever you want to do. Just start doing it. And it doesn't have to be good, and it probably won't be good when you're first starting. And be okay with that, and know that you're gonna grow as long as you put in the work. And don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do that.
those are some solid words. I feel like a lot of people, including myself, like we're overthinking things, and we think
Yeah,
that like as soon as we do something, especially if it's the first time doing it, it has to be like this masterpiece, and we forget about the experiences that we're gonna have that is gonna make us like better musicians,
yeah.
and essentially, well, we're gonna learn more from them. Throughout your journey as a musician, what has been one of the most difficult situations that you have encountered, and how have you recovered from that?
Oh, that's such a good question. Um, okay. So I think one of the biggest challenges has been it sounds so stupid. Like the fact that I can't just go out and do it right now, like to the fullest extent, because like obviously I'm still in high school, like I'm a junior in high school right now. And
Yeah.
like I've gotten like several opportunities to go on tour like as a hired gun, but I have to turn them down because I can't leave school for 2 weeks or more at a time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's been hard, and like it's not fun to have to say no to such a big cool opportunity like going on tour, you know what I mean? So I mean that it it really sucks, but at the same time it also like it lets me know that once I'm done with school, like I'm gonna hit the ground running, you know what I mean? Like if I'm getting those kind of opportunities now, like it's just gonna be even more so in a year and a half when I graduate, and my plan is to move to Nashville unless something massive changes between now and then. But I'm just gonna hit the ground running once I'm done. So that I guess it's a blessing and a curse because it makes me know that my future is secure, like opportunity wise. But it sucks having to turn down something I've always dreamed of doing for such a like small logistical reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But it also, like you said, it like I feel like right now you're in a you're in a I don't want yeah, well, yeah, actually. I want to say right now you're in a special place because of experience. You know what it's like. Have experience in your belt playing and all that, and that's an experience um, that not everyone gets to have. When I was your age, I was damn. I mean, I was like the only one in high school who had the hair long, like all the way down to my chest, and no one else had. I mean, there were other people that liked Metallica, but no one was into like the bands that were into. No one was wearing Motley Crue t-shirts. No one was wearing like Poison or Alice Cooper t-shirts, or Kicks t-shirts, for that matter. So I was like the only one, and then there weren't bands that were playing this kind of music. So like the fact that um, you have been, and the fact that your family is also, was I guess was one of was kind of like the gateway, for between you and rock and roll. Will definitely, will definitely allow you to move further into your career as a musician in the field. What would you say to like another kid, right, that wants to be involved? Like, what advice would you give to another person having even if they are your age or even they're much older? Like, what would you say to them to encourage them um, to follow their dreams of being a musician?
Yeah, so I get asked this quite a lot actually
Oh,
by like people of all ages ask me all the time like what advice I would give, and honestly like just go for it. Like do it. Just start doing it. Like you don't have to know anything cuz like for me I didn't know anything. I just started doing what I thought was what I was supposed to be doing for uh the industry. So just start doing whatever you want to do. Just start doing it. And it doesn't have to be good, and it probably won't be good when you're first starting. And be okay with that, and know that you're gonna grow as long as you put in the work. And don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do that.
those are some solid words. I feel like a lot of people, including myself, like we're overthinking things, and we think
Yeah,
that like as soon as we do something, especially if it's the first time doing it, it has to be like this masterpiece, and we forget about the experiences that we're gonna have that is gonna make us like better musicians,
yeah.
and essentially, well, we're gonna learn more from them. Now, what projects are you? Actually, I was going to ask you about this because I was talking to a Sish, and he told me that you guys were part of were kind of like this online band called Venom,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a project that you guys were working on. So how are things looking with that project? Are you guys releasing a song anytime soon? Maybe you're moving to different endeavors. What is that looking like right now?
Yeah, so I was part of this band called Black Venom with a bunch of people from all around the world.
Sorry,
Um,
Black Venom.
you're good. And I don't really know what's going on with that right now. I haven't heard anything in a while, so last time I got an update was we were recording a cover song and drums and bass and one guitar part was tracked because we have three guitar players. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what the status of that is. I don't really know what's going on, but uh yeah, I mean I would love to do stuff with that. They're really talented musicians. So hopefully that can pick up again soon. That would be great.
Guessing the status is stay tuned for stay tuned. That's the status. Now, are you working on any projects right now? Um, what is I got actually what's the best way that I can ask this? Is there anything that you have planned towards the upcoming future? Any new song releases, any covers, any unexpected collaborations? What projects um, are you planning on working right now?
So I'm in a band right now called Alice Loves Alien, based in Massachusetts. We have a ton of shows booked. We're opening for a band called Westbound, which features Chaz West, who was in Foreigner. We're opening for them in New Jersey and another city, TBA. uh, so get excited for that. I'm very excited for that. And we're also recording a live album at our show in 2 days from the recording date of this.
Sounds awesome.
So that will be released in early 2023. So I'm very excited about that. That'll be my first like real release, I guess. I'm really excited to be a part of that. It's a really, really cool project. So I'm excited to see how that's gonna go. Yeah, that's what I'm doing in the meantime, and I'm just playing as much as I can live because that's what I love to do. So
That's awesome. I hopefully I'll catch you guys whenever you guys are near me or whenever the opportunity arises. Now, since you love playing live, how do you keep um what's the best way to ask this? Do you have any practice routines that you do, or do you just practice once a week, or how does your practice routine look like?
yeah, I mean, I don't really have like a set routine. It kind of varies based on like what I have going on. Like if I right now, like this show is the first time we're playing the live out like the show we're recording the live album. This is the first time we'll be playing the entire album live together. So I've just been cramming that every day. I'll run through the whole set twice a day. That's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been working on for the past couple of weeks. Uh, and before that, we had a show, uh, and we're gonna have another similar show in a couple weeks doing covers, a 3 hour set doing covers. So I was learning all those songs because I'm the newest member of this band. So I joined around July-ish. We started rehearsing together. So I'm still like learning all their catalog of covers and originals. So that's mostly what my practice consists of right now. But also for bass at least, and I work with my bass teacher Brandon Cook, who plays with Black and Blue, and he teaches me, all the ins and outs of not only playing bass but also like the industry, which is really cool. Right now we're actually working on a classical cello piece. I don't play cello. I'm learning it on the bass,
Yeah,
but just like sometimes he'll throw weird stuff like that at me, and it's cool because it's a challenge, and I like a challenge.
that's awesome. By what you're telling me about your endeavors and the way how how you're so you're so damn, words are leaving my mind today. I don't know what it is. But it's like you have a lot of ambition. There we go. You have a lot of
Yeah,
ambition. So that's like that. Yeah, I believe that if you have a lot of ambition, then you're more likely to to succeed in whatever it is that you do. Um, Wow, when I was on a tour with Wild Street, it's I also have spent running through the set list at least like twice a day, especially during the beginning of the tour. But my bass player, he needed to run through the whole thing maybe like once, 4 times, and then he was good to go.
Wow.
And there are quite a few. So it's like, you kind of remind me of my bass player in a sense, because it sounds like you guys have a good like a good ear, and you have a good connection with your instrument, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like bass is my main thing now. So I'll spend, and like if I wasn't in school, I would definitely spend a lot more hours playing. But I is it okay if I take you through what a day looks like for me?
Oh yeah, please do
Cool.
that. Yeah, yeah. Well, what does a day look like in the life of Shannon Wilk?
Yeah. So I mean, like I go to school 7:30 to 2:30. So then that's most of my day. So then I come home, work out, eat, then do homework. Then that's when the real work starts, is when I practice, run through the set, uh, whatever else I might be practicing at the time. Do any content I need to put out, prepare all that, learn songs for covers if I have to do that, make TikTok content, uh, or shoot a show, because sometimes that happens on a weeknight. um, or do stuff like this, or sometimes I'm doing an interview with someone for my podcast I'm having on Wednesday 13 next, if you were wondering. uh so
Rockin'
I have that
interviews,
next
right?
week. What's that?
It's a rockin' interviews, right?
Yeah, Rockin' Interviews is my podcast and publication. So I definitely keep busy.
Wow, is that you have a lot of wow, it's you managed to get a lot through your day. That
Yeah.
that
And I have like, I'm 16, so I'm also doing driver's ed and, taking music lessons. I take bass lessons and I take guitar lessons when my teacher's not on the road. And basically at this point, like guitar is like my fun time. Like if I schedule, I have to schedule myself days off. This is how much I work. I'll schedule a day off and I'll be like, oh, like if I feel like playing that day, then I'll play guitar or whatever, just like learn something for fun. Like one day my dad was like, oh, I bet you can't play the riff and the chorus of Above the Law. And I was like, watch.
is.
Yeah. And so I learned Above the Law by Hardcore Superstar on guitar, because my
Song.
dad was like, bet you can't play that. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, no, watch.
And you prove your dad wrong. That's awesome. That's awesome. And actually, I was like watching. I guess I was watching like Julian Blank, which is and he's an entrepreneur in the self help industry, and he also set to a scheduled time to relax.
Yeah, I
And
have to do that too.
yeah, and I mean, it sounds like you manage your time very well. Or at
I
least
have to.
yeah, because you have a lot of projects and all of that. I mean, like making
Yeah,
content for TikTok and Instagram is like it's like a whole thing of
it's
its
a full-time job, honestly, by itself.
own. Yeah, I had to get lights and I had to do all of this, try to figure out angles and all of that. So that's awesome. I totally get where you're coming from. All right, Shannon, thank you so much for being with us. Guys, if you're listening or if you're watching this, check out Rockin' Interviews, which is Shannon's podcast, where she also interviews a lot of rock stars. And you can check out Shannon on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Shannon, am I missing anything else? Am I missing another a handle or social media platform that I'm not aware of?
I think you covered it all.
Awesome, awesome. So the links will be listed down on the description. If you watch this, thank you for watching this. If you listen to this, thank you for listening. And if you want to watch this, then go to the YouTube channel and watch this interview. Shannon, hopefully we can do another collaboration sometime anytime soon. If not, I'll catch you on the road.
Hell yeah. Thank you.